Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I thought I'd kick up another topic here since everyone seemed to enjoy the last one I did so much, and I thought I'd just, keep it real and talk to you guys. So it's currently 4:08 a.m, I got work tomorrow in the morning, it is what it is. But today I wanted to talk about failure. So failure in my opinion is one of the most powerful things in this world that you can have happen to you. And a lot of people interpret failure as a fairly negative experience. It has a lot of negative feelings associated with it. But I've kind of grown to look at it a little bit differently. And of course, a lot of people kind of think it's pretty hip and happening to talk about failure as something you should chase and stuff like that. I never think it's something you should chase though. But we're going to get into details why that is in just a second here. So overall, the theme of this video is going to obviously be the failure and also realization. So I kind of like to look at real life and in general how I'm moving through life kind of as a bit of a game. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but gamifying the way I look at it. And I think that also serves as a pretty good analogy for explaining it. So in a game like Path of Exile, which is the game I play for the YouTubes, you can acquire items and stuff like that, and I would compare this to being a materialistic thing. Buying a new computer or a new phone or something like that. That's like items in a game that you equip to your character, and it's super duper good. Now, things that you cannot buy though is like experience levels. You can't level up with money. It's impossible to do in real life. I suppose you can buy knowledge to try and consume, but at the end of the day, you can't just deposit $20,000 in some other guy's bank account and level up your IRL character, so to speak. And the ultimate way to level up in real life is actually through failure, and by extension of that, realization through reflection. So that might be a pretty deep topic, but I'm going to give you guys some examples of when I've failed and how I've leveled up as a result of that, and maybe it'll make you guys feel a little bit better about some of your failures. And if you're watching this video, the reason I'm making this is that if you've just had something bad happen to you and you're really beating yourself up about it, it's pretty easy to feel pretty bad about it. But the best thing to do about it is to look at it, analyze it, look at it logically, look at what happened, and then learn from it and move on. That's gonna level you up, man. It's gonna make you better, which is the main goal in life. If you stop leveling up, man, that's it. You just stagnate. It's no good, no fun in life if you just stagnate. Got to keep getting better. So I've got a pretty interesting past. We won't get too much into the details here. Obviously, you guys are familiar with my current self, which is as Grimro PoE, but I wasn't always this way. So finishing up high school, I think we'll start off there. Obviously, high school's a whole nother kettle of fish. I'm sure we all have our war stories. But finishing up high school, man, I was pretty set on being an accountant actually, and that's basically what I signed up to do. I signed up for a double degree in accounting and information systems, and I was pretty set. I had basically no idea what I wanted to do, but I heard accountants made a lot of money, so I thought I would go with that and see if I could get that going. I did a few accounting classes in high school, didn't seem too bad, pretty much no direction, and that's what we were rolling with. So fast forward, I actually decided to go to a boarding university, I suppose. It's like where you live on campus. In hindsight, that wasn't the best decision either, but that's another story for another time as well. But yeah, so I rock up there, and fair to say that I absolutely hated it, man. I hated accounting, I hated information systems, I hated what I was doing, and I hated where I was. So I spent the next, 6 months trying to figure out how to get back home from where I was and just get out of there, man. So that was my first massive failure. It cost a lot of money, it cost a lot of time, and it was fairly embarrassing at the time as well. And it wasn't a good way to be going. And I pretty much had no idea what I was gonna do with my life at that point. I was sitting there, and I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I think I was about 18 and a half to 19 years old. and it wasn't a good time. So I moved back home. Didn't really know what I was gonna do. Obviously, the logical decision is to try something different at university, but I didn't really feel like doing that at the time. So I decided to play Yu-Gi-Oh professionally, and that was actually one of the best decisions I made in my life. Kind of hilarious, I know. That's another story for another time. But that actually is what really did define me very much as a person. And I actually made a considerable amount of money flipping cards and observing markets and really learning about, I suppose, closed economies and all sorts of stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I made a lot of my long life friends. And going forward, I don't regret any of those years at all. So failure defined me. It pushed me in a new direction. And while it did get me down for a little bit, I picked myself up. And even though I was aimless, I found something to do with myself. I started trying new things, and I found success and direction, and obviously definition in my life in the most unusual place, in a children's card game, playing with my friends or my new friends, I suppose. So if you're in a position where you don't really know what to do, you need to get out there and start failing, man. Start figuring out new things to do. Let's say you try cooking. You're not a very good cook. That's okay, man. You tried it out. Now you know that. That's good. That failure is going to level you up. Now you know you're not doing that skill. What's next, man? What are you trying next? Maybe it's art. Maybe it's being a professional dog walker or something like that. That's a good time. So trying things, try until you find something that sticks. And that really is the ultimate thing. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry about that, man. Just do what you want to do and try out some new stuff. The absolute biggest mistake I made in life, and the one that I've learned the most from, is envy and comparison to others. Everyone's moving through life at different rates. That's what it's all about. And comparing yourself to others when they've had the opportunity to make bigger failures than you, or they've randomly lucked into a success first time around, is not a good way to go about it. Everyone's built differently, and we're all good at different things, and finding that is the important part. I'm going to link this back to YouTube now, actually, because I think it's pretty interesting. So one of the big things about, people ask, like, how did you get so many subs? How are you doing so well on the YouTubes? It's all just failure, man. I realized fairly early on is that, if you don't continue to iterate on yourself and what you're doing, you're never going to move forward in life and level up. And the faster you can iterate, the more powerful you will become at a faster pace. So let me give you an example. I've just really made that realization recently. Early on in my YouTube account of life, I'd make a video every 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks sometimes if it's a league start. And my process of iteration and failure and learning was incredibly slow. The rate at which I was learning was far, far too slow to basically accumulate massive success. The period in between a good video and a bad video, and the learning between that, was far too long. Even though I did, figure out a big hit, a small hit, imagine, like, I make 3 or 4 videos sometimes in a day now. I can learn everything I did in 2 weeks in one day, which is just an incredible improvement. And I highly encourage you guys to get out and try as many things as possible. I know that sounds cliche, but if you don't, you're going to learn a lot slower. So let's move forward a little bit. I have a lot of life stories, but in terms of failure, let's talk about getting a girlfriend. That's a pretty funny one. So this one was a pretty interesting one for me, at least. So I've had a few girlfriends in my past, but in my probably early 20s, 22, 23, I decided that, I wanted to get another girlfriend. I'd been single for a while. So I did what any man would do, and I went on YouTube and looked up how to pick up girls. And I started looking up some video guides on it, and I thought that was a pretty good idea. And, I got some pretty good tips. And, I thought I'd apply those tips. And it was actually much harder than I thought, to be honest with you. But I hit up the local shopping center. I asked some girls out, and that was very difficult, very awkward. But every time I asked a girl out, I'd look like an absolute idiot. But I would learn something new every single time. And that was a very difficult process to go through, but that was a very interesting and very good experience to learn to go through, because every time, bang, rejection, 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 rejection. You learn, you improve. Next up, that guy thought you were a creep because X, Y, Z. Don't do that next time. And eventually I did hit it and I nailed it. Here I am now. I have a girlfriend of 5 years and it's going well. Awesome. But that process of iteration and that process of failure is what eventually defined my success. And that's basically going to go for everything in life, man. If you can continually fail at something, you will succeed eventually. It's just going to be how many failures it takes. A good example of this, again, is artists. I've watched a lot of videos of artists, and they have these crazy sketchbooks where they basically try and draw things. I think they're called practice books or something like that. And they like draw something like thousands of times, right? And then they keep messing up, and then eventually, their brain absorbs it enough, and then they can draw it. And then maybe they go on to draw it in like a video or on a stream or something like that. And everyone's like, damn, how did you do that so easily? Well, the reality is, behind the scenes, they've failed countless times. And that really is the overall kind of lesson of life. Now, moving on though, I want to talk about realization. I don't know if anyone else has this, but this is definitely something I have a lot. And that is that, I'll be cruising through life and, events will happen. And sometimes I take time, whether it's in the tub, having a bit of a soak in the tub, Grim in the tub, hot tub stream. But you're in the tub or you're in the shower, you're on the toilet, anything like that. And you just stop, whether it's in the car even, and you think, and you just have like this, you hit the tank, man. You go in the tank, it's just that inner, like you have the inner monologue going, you're in the tank, man. And you're reflecting on things that have happened to you. And you make realizations that, wow, why did I do that? Or why is it like that? Or, how come it's like that? Like, let me give you an example of one that I've had recently. So all of my life, I've been suffering from this kind of skin condition. I think it's called psoriasis, right? Recently, I was watching a Quinn69 stream. He's a streamer. And he mentioned that he doesn't use shampoo and that people should try it out. So I did that, man. I tried it out. I've had this skin condition all my life. It's tormented me for years. It's been awful. And I tried not using shampoo. For a bit of context, I've been to dermatologists, all sorts of things like that. They've prescribed me all sorts of crazy medications and like cold tar shampoos, all sorts of stuff like that. And I tried them all and none of them worked. And then I just try some online strategies from this random guy on the internet. Stopped washing my hair with shampoo. Lo and behold, my hair is fine now. My scalp is pretty much OG. It's fine. I don't have this condition anymore. And the realization I made from that upon reflection is that, there can be doctors, there can be people who like know everything, they're so professional, all sorts of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean they're right, man. No one knows everything. No one can be trained to know everything. This is a very important fact of life. For me, at least, I make a lot of these realizations lately because I make a point to always reflect on things that happen to me. And I, that realization that no one knows everything, that no one has all the answers, and that you need to kind of seek your own answers, was incredibly important to me. And I think that the overall thing here is that you need to fail. You need to explore, you need to try new things at the fastest rate possible. Obviously, you need to make sure you're still comfortable, and then you need to reflect on them and make realizations, because that is really ultimately how you level up in life. And that's how I've leveled up in life, and how I've gone from being where I was to a place where I'm actually hopefully going to be far more happier in the future, because that's what it really all is. It is always about that. It's crafting your life, your experiences, and kind of setting your trajectory based on kind of everything you've learned. And I think it's pretty important. So pretty kind of random video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this late night rant from the Grim. And if you want to see more videos like this, thumbs up. If you want to see less videos like this, thumbs down. And with all that said, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Really enjoyed reading everyone's comments from the last one. I actually read almost every comment, so even if I don't like it or anything like that, I've probably read it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.